Okay guys, welcome back, or welcome for the first time of course. Today I'm going to be doing something a little different from what I normally do. This is a server that I play on. It's a whitelisted server. It's basically Skyblock but in FTB, Feed the Beast, Mindcrack I mean, not Minecraft. So yeah, I mean, this isn't what I'm going to be doing. It's just sort of like a quick explanation of what I'm going to be showing off. And I've got my young cat there. So what I'm going to be showing off, just sort of briefly, I don't want to go too into depth because that'll just involve a lot of spoilers. I mean, you can find guides and stuff on the internet if you want, but it was a bit hard for me to sort of figure out what I was doing, so I thought I may as well just make a little demonstration, just in case anyone was interested. I mean, I know there's things on YouTube about it, but yeah. So what I'm going to be doing is extra bees from the Forestry mod. So basically you've got an apiary and you've got, well, you put a princess bee in here, in this area here, and you put a drone in here, and then they will breed together. And there are so many freaking possibilities. For example, I've got an excited / valiant hybrid bee here. I've got, yeah, you have to analyze them with the bee analyzer, so until you do that they're going to be unknown. But I've got things like unweary bees, imperial, cultivated, rocky, ecstatic. I've got all sorts. So the way you start off is, well, I'm going to be showing you on a single player world, but I was just sort of showing off what I've got at the moment just to show what is actually possible. So you can get all these different honeycombs from all the different types of bees. For example, fossilized combs are coal bees. They will produce coal dust, which I've got some of here from my bees. Now the reason I've focused on the coal bees, I just want to show this, because I'm pretty sure it's in here, in the blacksmith. Ooh, it's a bit laggy. Let me see. Yeah, coal ore costs 1 freaking diamond, and it's just ridiculously expensive. So, the hell, there's a chicken. I want his egg. I'm not going to get it, am I? Well, anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much what I'm going to be showing off. The server's pretty laggy at the moment. There's the spawn. I live pretty close to it. Doesn't seem to be loading. But anyway, I'm sure that'll be fine. It'll put me on my island. So I've got Beeland. I'm not going to use that. I'm going to make a new world. Beeland Prime. Create new world. A whole new world. So I'm not actually going to stick to 15 minutes for this episode. It's just sort of like a quick tutorial-y one. So when I'm done, I'm done. Because I'm going to cheat. I'm in cheat mode. And I don't need creative. Okay, so basically what you want to do to start with is you want to get these apiaries. Now, I can put some in just quickly, but to be honest, I'd rather show how to make them first. So it's pretty easy. You just use any type of wood and any type of wooden slab, but the impregnated casing is the main issue. You need a carpenter. Now, that's not too difficult to make, and the recipe is basically just like a chest, but with actual wood. The problem is you need seed oil. So if I make a carpenter, let's just see. Oops, hang on. I was trying to look at the recipe there. It's just bronze, glass, and a sturdy casing, which is bronze. So it's easy enough. So let's get one of these up. And as you can see, it's all yada 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 as it looked before. However, to make the seed oil, you're going to need a squeezer, which is again a sturdy casing. It's pretty much exactly the same, but you replace it with tin and you'll make a squeezer. So let's put that down as well. And let me think. I'll just use an electric engine. I'm going to put creative on as well so I can get rid of things. Right, so I'm going to need to power that. So let's think. If I just put a nuclear reactor down, just setting everything up. Cable. I need 4 times insulated. I need an MFSU. I'm just going to do this so it'll sort of charge up and it'll all be hunky-dory for later on. And I need heat vents, advanced, that'll give me 1. So if I put 2 of those in, this is just the one I was using on that server. It makes 40 EU per tick. It's not exactly advanced, but 40 is enough. And uranium cells. I need like 6 of them. I'll just do whatever. So if I put those in like so, and levers. Right. So now we're pretty much set up. So that's turned on, and we turn this on. And I'll just use these wires because that'll probably work. Yep. So there, you've got your engine pumping from your power, and in the squeezer what you're going to need is either seeds, like regular seeds, you need pumpkin seeds, or you need melon seeds. So you put your seeds in and it will pump, basically. And this will fill up with seed oil, and in here you can either put wax capsules, which are made from 3 beeswax, just straight across, or you can put cans in. I don't know if it's called a tin can. You make it out of tin. It's basically, hang on, I'll show you. Tin ingots, and a crafting table. So what you do is you simply put tin in sort of like a pyramid shape, and you'll make 12 cans. And then you just put them in that area there, and once the seed oil fills up, it will make a seed can. So let's sort of skip that stage and get some seed oil cans. So you put those in there, and we need some wood. So let's just use spruce wood because that's the first one I saw. So what you do is you put the recipe in, and then you put the items that you need to make the recipe in this area. It doesn't actually use the items up at the top. So once you've done that, you will need to connect up an engine to that as well, and once it goes, it will produce these impregnated casings and put them there, at which point you can then make your apiaries. So that's the basics on how to get set up. There is also, what the hell, I didn't even notice that thing. Am I in creative? Yeah. There is also the possibility of finding an NPC village. This is quite handy actually. It would be even better if what I'm looking for is here, because you can find a beekeeper. Now these are just regular villagers because they look sort of browny. Oh, hang on. There's a beekeeper. You can tell that he is a beekeeper because he's got sort of like the bee hat on. So what he wants is he wants a princess for an emerald. But you can get ones that will sell you apiaries and also sell you proven frames. Now, frames are basically to change the way your bees will work. For example, an untreated frame, I think, will simply speed your bees up. Whereas a proven frame, which is the one you can only get from these beekeeper type villagers, they speed it up about 70%, I think. The impregnated frame will, I'm pretty sure it just sort of increases the output of the items that the bees produce. I don't know what the Nova frame does. I can't actually look at the recipe, so I'm not even sure if it's an actual proper frame that you're allowed to use. The healing frame, I'm also not sure of, to be honest. The soul frame is what you use to increase the chances of genetic mutation, which is basically the main way that you're going to get all the different bees that you want. The restraint frame, I do not know. I'm not claiming to be an expert at this, but yeah. And the chocolate frame will basically make your bees die, I think, 50% faster, because chocolate is lethal to bees apparently. And you've also got this frame housing, which you make from an alveoli block, which is very hard to make. You need all of these centered panellings. You'll need 27 of them, and it costs 1 royal jelly for each one. I think no, hang on. You need 8 for each block, but you need 27 blocks, so you need 27 times 8. And that means you need 27 times 8 royal jelly and pollen, which you get from really hard to get bees, and it's just incredibly difficult. So that's basic. That was really handy actually. I wasn't expecting one of those. That's basically how you get started up with your frames, or alternatively, if you don't want to go through all this trouble here, you can just go and buy apiaries from those types of guys. As you can see, 6 impregnated frames, and it didn't cost too much oil. It's been refilling it obviously, but yeah. Okay, so we have our apiaries. So then what you want to do is you're going to need a scoop, which is very easy. It's just some sticks and any type of wool. So let's get some scoops. To be honest, I only need one. I don't know why I made 2. So once you've got your scoop, what you want to go out and do is try and find a hive. Now, the hives are not all that hard to find. Let me see. There's probably going to be one around here somewhere. That's a cow. That's not a hive. Is that a hive? No, that's a tree. They're all crystals. That's just from Thorncraft. Okay, I'm quite surprised I haven't found one. They're usually quite abundant, to be honest. Oh, hang on. Was that one? Yes, there you go. So this one is going to be a forest hive. So what you do is you just attack it with your scoop. I forgot I'm in creative. I'll show you what happens. I'll just make one of the hives and show you. I'll just fly back to my apiaries first. Actually, I'll use this wide open space here. Let's put a couple more down. There we go. Okay, so I'll make a couple of forest hives. So let's get out of creative. So you're going to find your forest hives. Done. And you just basically attack it, and you're going to get the bees basically. So it's forest hive, so I got forest drone and forest princess. However, there is also a chance to get what's called a valiant bee. I mean, it's not a very high chance from what I've seen, but there's a chance. Let me just see if I can find one. I mean, you see all the highs I'm going through here. It's not exactly easy to get now, is it? So yeah, I haven't found any. But anyway, the valiant ones, you need to find both a valiant princess and a valiant drone. Or alternatively, if you just find one of each, you can sort of crossbreed with a different type of bee and... Oh, hang on, there you go, valiant princess. I didn't notice that. So yeah, see, I've got this Valiant Princess. So if I were to put that in the Princess slot and put a drone into the drone slot, there's a chance that I'll get a hybrid that will appear over here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put chocolate frames in like that, because that will force them to die a lot quicker. Right, so you've also got what you call your Bealizer. I'm just going to get rid of some of these things. Let me go and throw them over here. I don't need these uranium cells or MFSUs or anything. I think I've just deleted those actually. Anyway, so you got your Bealizer. So what you're going to want is actually, they squeezers. Yeah. You're going to want what is called a centrifuge. Centrifuge. Not sure how to pronounce that, to be honest. I'm pretty sure it's centrifuge. And again, you're going to want to power this with an engine. Once I can type, I'll actually find one. I'll just use a Stirling. Or two. Levers. Sounding cool. Like so. Right, so basically, there you go. See, the Valiant Queen, well, basically Valiant bees in general, will produce what's called a cocoa comb. Now, that's actually not normally the first one you'll see. What you normally see is just a honeycomb, because you'll normally find like a forest or a water bee or anything like that. I think water ones are found actually in water. Oh, there's another hive actually. Yeah, see, they are actually pretty common. So what you do is you put it in the centrifuge, it will power it, and you'll normally get beeswax and, hang on, let me just put some forest ones in here. I didn't mean to do that, but I've got frames there. Chocolate. Right. Let me just get a comb. I mean, there are a lot of different types of combs, as you can see, but the most common one that you'll see at the beginning is the honeycomb. Now it's a yellow one looking like this. I'm not sure. There it is. There. Okay, so you put your honeycomb in there, centrifuges, and you'll normally get beeswax and a honey drop. So what you then do is you get your Bealizer, and what you need to do is you put your honey drop up here at the top, because supply bee and provide honey or honeydew as a pacifier, because the bee will be angry that you've sort of removed it from its hive and will not let you scan it unless you put the honey drop in. For example, nothing's happening. When I insert that, it will let me scan it. So what this is it's a forest drone. It's a pure forest drone, which is its active genes and inactive genes at both forest. Now it's the same on both sides, so it's pretty much only ever going to mutate into this. And you've also got some other things like temperature tolerance, humidity, whether it's nocturnal, so whether it will produce at night, a flyer, which means whether it will produce things in the rain, or in a cave, which means if it's got anything above the apiary that it's inside, or alternatively above the hive that it's inside. For example, rocky bees spawn underground, so therefore they are always nocturnal and they are always cave dwellers. Okay, so this is what they will possibly produce. Now it's just a regular bee, so it's only going to produce the honeycomb, and it can mutate into a lot of different types of things. And this is hang on, there you go. This is just the sort of like different types of things that it is. I don't think this is all that relevant. So if we look, we've got a valiant princess, and we've actually created a valiant drone because, let me just get some more honey. Now if we take a look at that, there we see it's a valiant forest hybrid now. If I had scanned it when it was new, it would have been a valiant pure, but now it's bred with the forest drone I put in. Its inactive genes are a forest of those of the forest drone. It's got the long lifespan, which is normally the primary trait of the valiant, and it's put that on the forest inactive, and it's taken the forest's shorter lifespan instead. So what you get is pretty random, and again here it would have 3 times, but it's taken the forest's 2, so it will only produce 2 bees instead of 3 once the queen is dead, and like this bar has gone to the bottom. At least I'm pretty sure that's that. Hang on. Oh no, the forest is 3. I thought the valiant was 3. Oh well, my mistake. So yeah, you've got all these different things. Valiant and nocturnal. It's got an inactive flyer and an inactive cave for some reason. Are those normal traits of the forest ones? They're not, are they? I didn't think the valiant started with that. But again, I'm not exactly an expert on this stuff. I just played it on that server that I just showed you. So yeah, we've got cocoa beans, honey drops, beeswax. Now these are all pretty worthless things. I mean, on the Skyblock server, the cocoa beans were quite valuable, but in a normal world, they wouldn't really be. Honey is pretty useful, and beeswax is what you want to use probably instead of tin to put your water in, or seed oil, or whatever other type of liquid you're doing, because you can also make liquid honey. You just put honey into a squeezer instead of the seeds, and it will make liquid honey, and you can put those into cans and wax capsules and whatnot. But as you can see, there are quite a few different types of combs. I don't claim to know what how to get all of these. I have no idea how to get an alcoholic comb, for example. But basically what you want is normally you can sort of make a lot of things with forest and meadow. Now, right there. So if I put the meadow down and get some meadow bees, let's put them in here actually. Right, so I've got my meadow princess. So if I put a forest drone in, it charges up slightly, and then the chocolate frame will bring this bar down quicker than normal. It's a bit, it does produce a little bit more, I think, with the chocolate frame as well. More as in honeycombs and all the different types of combs. Let's just turn the rain off, because that's not going to work now, I don't think. It would normally come up with something here, for example, no queen. So if I put a queen in, or a princess, no drone. So I put a drone in, it will work. But if I make it nighttime, not daytime, so I put the time back to dawn, yeah, they all work. So yeah, you've got that. I do like this little sort of animation you get with all the bees flying all over. I love that. And it's the correct colour as well. For example, this one's red because it's a red bee. This one's blue because it's a blue bee. And incidentally, you cannot, I don't know why I put bee there, you can't sort of cheat for all the different types. You can just get the base types. Doesn't even look like you can get the valiant ones from here, because you can get like diamond bees and emerald bees, lapis bees, all sorts of bees. So that one's gone, and basically you cross two different types of bees and you get different types of bees again. So a meadow and a forest gives you a chance to get a common bee. So it's pretty much exactly the same, really. It's not all that useful. It can fly, so it can work in the rain, but it's pretty much worthless as well. What you want to do is sort of cross that with a different type, probably like the forest or something, and you might get a chance there. You get the chance of possibly a cultivated bee. But beyond that, I'm not going to really spoil all of the different sort of bee trees, maybe, because as I see it, you can get a lot of different bees. You can get tin bees, latex bees, and what they're used for, I do not know. I need to centrifuge one to find out. Ebony, bleached, sepia, turquoise. Honestly, there's all sorts of things you can get. Coffee. So what? Alright, that makes rubber. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much Bees 101. But once you actually get into the bees, you're going to want a way to sort of get the different traits of the bees onto your other bees a bit more effectively, I mean. So let's go over here and see what that's at. Yeah, it's got a bit of power. So let's go over here, get rid of those, and if we make a redstone energy cell, in fact I don't even need that, I can just make a fully charged one. So let's just go back over to this area. Right, so I put that down because this operates on Minecraft joules instead of EU, which is what we want for all the B type of machines. So just now I made an isolator. So I plonk that down next to it. It's charging. It's Minecraft joules. So what you've got is you've got an isolator. Now to use this, you're going to want what's called an empty serum file. Let me see, here it is. And the recipe for that unfortunately includes royal jelly. So I'm just going to see it. To get these, you're going to want to work on imperial bees first. Now, I'm not going to spoil how to get the imperials, but I will mention that it begins with the noble bees. So the first thing you probably want to go and make is noble bees. So if I get some of those and shove those in there, they go on this side, and then I'll analyze some sort of bee, this valiant one for example, and if you put the valiant bee in, where's it gone? There it is. It will basically just scan it and sort of see all the different traits that are on it. For example, it's got slowest worker and the shorter life, and once it's done, it will make a serum vial. Like so. So we've got the slower flowering serum. So that's the pollination, which I'll just show off. There you go. Pollination slower, which means, I'm pretty sure at least, how quickly it will make new types of flowers around it. Because if you saw on the server I was just on, there were a lot of flowers. I didn't plant all of those, the bees made those. So we've got a serum. I mean, it doesn't really matter what sort of serum we get. I just want to show off what they can do. But, oh, valiant species. That's a good one. You can't actually put them back in, so I'll just do that. And I want to get rid of that. Okay, so let's move on. So we've got our species serum. However, it's empty and it's of average quality. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to put it in a synthesizer. Once I locate where those are. Let's just delete a few bees. Alright. So we've got our synthesizer. Now this is empty. As you can see, it takes some sort of liquid. So unfortunately we're going to have to fill that up. And what we need to do that is a gene pool machine. So we plunk that down as well. That charges up pretty quick because it only uses 5 I keep saying megajoules, 5 Minecraft joules per tick. So we throw in any type of bee and it processes the bee. And once that's done processing, this will fill up slightly and we get liquid DNA. Now as you can see, the forest princess is going to be worth, let's see, that was worth 13%. But if we, for example, if we analyze this forest princess and we put that one in, I'm pretty sure it's worth more percentage. I didn't really count it a lot on the server, nor did I put princesses in, but there you go. See, that was worth 25%. So I think maybe it's worth like double. So a drone, I'm pretty sure, is worth 2%. So let's put in an analyze drone as well. So this will go to 54, I believe. No, 55. So maybe 2.5% instead. And this will probably be worth 5% in that case. Yeah. So basically it doubles the amount that you get based on whether it's analyzed or not. And whether it's a princess or not depends on how much you get. So we've got that now. Liquidates. So let's just delete that. So what we want now is to feed in the liquid DNA into the synthesizer. And unfortunately, the liquid ducts work on redstone current. So we're going to need to activate it. Hang on. I'm also going to need this so that I can tell it to come out of this machine and go into this machine. So you can see it going over, and now we've got 15% into the synthesizer. So if I take the Valiant species serum, as you can see, it will now process because it's got some liquid DNA to use and it's got power. Now it uses 50 Minecraft joules per tick. So let's just increase the output there as well. So once this is complete, we get 1 charge. So I'm just going to shove that in and create another cell. So let's plunk that down there. Right. So we have a charge on our Valiant species serum. However, it's of only average quality, which is a bit of an issue because if we were to inject that into any type of bee, it would work, but a few generations down the line, because if you have a look, it will tell you how many generations it's been in captivity. So a few generations down the line, that princess would die and you'd lose the ability to create any more of those bees. So what you want to do is you want to improve the quality of it with a purifier. So if we put that there, now this is charging, and as you can see it also requires liquid DNA. So if we extend this out, and break that. Now we need to put some more bees in just for it to process, and that will charge up this as well. So then if we put that in, it's going to say not enough liquid DNA, but we've just processed some bees, so now we do have enough. So now it's actually purifying the serum that you get. So it takes a couple of goes. It's at average quality at the moment. It will then proceed to good quality, and then we arrive at excellent quality, which is the one that we want. I'm just going to put a couple more next to this to increase the charging rate. There we go. Plus these won't be actually doing 100. Yeah, that's plenty. Right. So we're at average, good. That will take a little while longer. So anyway, once you've got that done, you're actually going to want to imprint that onto a bee as well, aren't you? For example, this one is a forest drone, and this is the Valiant species serum. So this will actually transform a forest bee into a Valiant bee. This specific serum. Obviously other serums will do other things. For example, slower flowering, slowest productivity, no temperature tolerance. But you're going to want to make some other types of bees before you actually get on with this. For example, there's a bee called an ancient bee, and that one will actually have its lifespan as elongated, which means it lives a very long time. It's even longer than this. I'm pretty sure that's the highest type of lifespan that you can get. So it's worth getting, but once you start automating your bees with apiarists pipes, which I'll show soon, it's not all that much of an issue. What you really want is the fastest worker. I'm not sure what you call that. It may be called fastest worker. On the bees I've done, I've only got fast, but yeah, it's pretty decent. So there we go. We've got excellent quality on our Valiant bee. So to actually imprint that onto a bee, we're going to need an inoculator to inoculate our bee, surprisingly. And with this one, you're not going to need any liquid DNA. All you need is your serum, which goes in there, and your bee, which you're going to want to put in the top, but it will automatically put just down here. Now, it does take a little while, and the maximum amount of charges that the serum can hold is 16 charges. Normally, you'd want at least 2, because basically, if I go back into the Beealyzer, as I mentioned earlier, you've got the active and inactive gene types of the specific bee. So basically, this bee in here, it's a forest drone, and I'm imprinting it with Valiant species. However, it's only 1 charge, so it's most likely going to either end up as a forest drone still, because I think sometimes it can feel. I'm not entirely certain on that. Or alternatively, it could be a forest Valiant drone or a Valiant forest drone, depending on which gene type it affects. For example, the active one would turn it into a Valiant forest, inactive forest Valiant. But we'll find out in a moment. So until then, not really much to do, just wait. Well, actually, there are a few more different types of things here. You've got your apiarist's data bank, which you make from a database and an apiarist machine. Now, these machines are not all that easy to make. You need a lot of apiarist machines, because then you make your genetic machine, and then you make your advanced genetic machine, and then you actually use the finished recipe. And one of them actually uses 3 emeralds. That's the isolator, which you actually need to get started. So you're going to need quite a bit of resources to get started with the bees once you actually want to start all of this serum stage. So there you go, see, we've got a Valiant drone. The thing, yeah, so as I said, it's a Valiant forest drone. So it did succeed, and it replaced the active gene type. But we only had the one charge, so it was unable to do the inactive. But it can produce cocoa, honeycombs, and sugar now, because that's what Valiant drones, Valiant bees, I should say, actually produce. And it's got the possible mutations. For example, if you cross it with a common, it can turn into a cultivated. Has that actually happened? No. I'm not sure why it knows that then. But yeah, if you cross it with a common, it can turn cultivated. If you cross it with meadow, it can turn common. And it's got a lot of different types of variations. So, well, as I've said, as I've showed, you've got all those combs, you've got like tungsten bees, all that sort of thing. Just basically try out some different types of bees, combine them, see what you get. But you're going to want to find all of the hives first. For example, I do believe that water hives are actually underwater. Is that one there? It could be, I'm not sure. That might be sand actually. And you've got like forest ones which you get in the trees, meadows which are just on the floor around somewhere, etc. So once you've got all that sort of stuff worked out and you've got maybe a good bee, I'm going to go back to the server I was just on now, just to show off what I've got. Basically, I can't cheat on this server, by the way, but basically I've got things like dripping combs, which you get from imperial bees, which also give off the royal jelly. You've got beeswax, which is just what you get from normal ones. You've got pollen, which you want to make your apiary here, which you get from the industrious bees. Let's just have a look at those. I've got a stack of 15 in there at the moment. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure, I'm not entirely certain, but I'm pretty sure that on the sort of end bees that can't actually mutate any further, you get this sort of enchanted sort of shiny effect on them, as you can see there, because it's also on the imperial bees, which are on the end here. And it's also on a couple of other ones that I've got, energetic and stuff. I mean, I've got a lot of bees. I've got like noble, emerald, primeval. Yeah, ecstatic drones actually. They're the end ones. I've got 64 energetic. Yeah, I'm just going to say the energetic ones actually turn into the ecstatic. But I mean, I've got corroded, which produce copper. I've got leaden, which obviously produce lead. Emerald produces emerald, etc. And this is all the sort of things, like glowing combs. I think you get those from the ecstatic or excited or something. Static as well, from the same type as the redstone one, because this turns into redstone, and the static turns into energy drops, which are apparently used to create crystals. I'm not sure what these are for. I press U on it and it doesn't really show me. It seems to just store 8000 EU. I'm not really sure why you'd want to. I mean, you can create MFSUs. They store like 10 million. And I've got another MFSU here, also with 10 million. So 8,000 isn't all that impressive. But yeah, I mean, you can automate all your bees. I mean, I've got lapis bees here. I don't know actually. They don't really seem to be producing anything. I thought they did, because I know for a fact I got this 6 lapis from my lapis bees when I was originally doing them. So I'm not sure what's going on there. But I've got plenty of stuff. But as you can see, you can get like rainfall serum, which makes them flying in the rain. It can make them fly in the rain. They can fly in the rain. So I got elongated cave dwelling, so that means you can put stuff over them. Normal fertility, that's the best one I could find, to be honest. It's just like some of my bees, like my leaden bees. Let me see. See, the fertility is 2 times bees, so that means once the breed, you get 2 bees back. The leaden bees were only giving me 1 bee back, so it was a bit hard to sort of mass produce them to sort of streamline their genetic structure so I could automate them, because I want ones that stack permanently, but they weren't stacking. So I had to imprint the normal fertility so I could do that. So you can get nocturnal, fast, beatific. Beatific actually makes you get the regeneration effect. I'm getting that, like, there we go, regeneration. I'm getting that from my imperial bees at the moment. But yeah, I mean, so what I've done here is I've got my apiaries. I pump out of them with a wooden pipe, normal wooden pipe, and I've got an iron pipe here which makes it only go up into this apiarist pipe. So what you do here is I've got any sort of bee outputting to the red, which brings it down here, and any item outputting to the white, which brings it up here. So all my iron pipes only output to the right, which brings them all down here and puts any item into this chest. So any bee will go to the red, which always brings it down into this line of apiarist pipes. And this is the same for all of them. What I've got here is any drone goes to the red. So again, it goes around and underneath and up into the same apiary with iron pipes. You could probably use like sandstone or something, I'm not really sure. I just went with iron because iron's really easy to get on this server. And so yeah, the drones enter through the bottom, and you want to make sure that the drones actually stack first, otherwise you're going to have a bit of a problem. And the queen, because you see princesses go to the black, which is straight down. So the princesses enter through the top, which basically turns them into queens with the drones that are going through, and charges that up. They do that, and then once they're done, they'll get pumped out because they end up in this area, and it just goes around and around and around. And it's basically infinite bees. Let me see here. I was hoping there would be some sort of example, because once these things are full, in fact, screw it, it doesn't really matter too much. Oops. Basically, it will pump until it's got to 64, which obviously is a stack. And once it reaches that, it won't be able to input any more into the bottom. So they'll just get stuck in the bottom here and go back and forth until you take the stack out. Which is why I've got all of these stacks of bees. Like 64, 64, imperial, leaden, etc. So most of my bees are pretty much perfect. I mean, I don't have flyer on the fossilized. Obviously I could do that. They are nocturnal, so they work through the night. They aren't cave, but that's just because I've got nothing above them. Alternatively, if you were playing on a normal server and you were going to sort of build it inside a room, you would want that on top of it. Otherwise, you'd have to leave no roof. But yeah, that's pretty much my setup. But I'm not sure if I should explain an apiary. It's pretty much identical, really. It's basically a big apiary. It's just what I think it is. I'm not entirely certain. I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty sure it just makes a lot more resources, a lot more items than apiaries do. Now, I'm not sure if you can pump out of this, because obviously it's a 3x3 structure and you have to put some wooden slabs on top, but also you can add sort of extras into it, frame housing. So an apiary, you get the frames there, but with an aviary you have to actually build the frame housings yourself, and you can get different things like mutators and lighting. Lighting is so you don't have to have them be nocturnal and such, but to be honest, once you're at the point that you're making these, you're probably going to want to have all of your machines set up anyway, so it's kind of pointless really. So that's pretty much sort of a cursory look at bees. I set up sort of a melon farm so I could get all the seeds, so I could squeeze them and such. For example, I've got seed oil capsules here, and this is where I was creating my impregnated sticks. That's another thing actually. Seed oil will make impregnated sticks. It's pretty much exactly the same as an impregnated casing, but you just use two in the sort of stick formation, except it's proper wood instead of wooden planks. And once you do that, you want to make the frame, you want to make an impregnated frame by surrounding it, or well, making a surrounding recipe and putting string in the middle, and that makes your frames. And then to make like the soul frames, you just put like soul sand with an impregnated frame into the crafting, and it will just sort of make those. So yeah, that's pretty much bees right there. I mean, you can get, as I've said, a lot of different bees, but yeah, just experiment really, or just look it up if you are impatient like me. I mean, I looked up how to get these fossilized bees because it's coal bees, and each bit of coal costs a diamond. It's a bit ridiculous, so that's pretty much why I did that. So yeah, that's pretty much Bees 101 right there. And I can't really think of anything else that I haven't explained. Let me think. Let's go through it quickly. I mean, you've got the APR's database. That's not really all that important. It just shows you what you've actually had. Like, I've had lapis bees. This is normally the genome that they've got. Bauxite bees, etc. Ecstatic. The effect that ecstatic bees normally have is lightning. So if you put it into an apiary and stand next to it, you're going to get struck by lightning. Now I don't know if that works with a lightning rod. So like that, if it does, that would be a great source of EU. But I'm not entirely certain. But I bred that particular thing out, so my bees don't have that anymore. Because it was electrocuting me every time I was over here. It got kind of tiresome. But so yeah, I'll just yep. So There we go. So we'll just finish by looking at Nyan Cat. Hello. Nya, 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 nya. So thanks for watching me play Minecraft and explaining the freaking extra bees from the Forestry mod. I hope you found it sort of, well, not entertaining. I mean, I was trying to be a little bit entertaining, but sort of helpful, really. But, yeah, so thanks for watching, and I hope you check out some of my other videos as well, because I do like to play varying types of games. I just started the bridge and continuing my Atelier Iris series and all sorts. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you some other time. So until then, bye for now.